Welcome back, football fans. Today we've got a packed episode, with shocking Manchester United transfer news, Jadon Sancho's brutal message to Rashford, Rio Ferdinand's bold opinions, and Ineos facing a lawsuit over unpaid sponsorship fees. Let's dive right in. Rejecting transfer to Italy and Fernandes chat. The new fan favorite at Manchester United. The tune from the away section half an hour in at Anfield was familiar. Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. The name wasn't. That six-syllable chorus had long been reserved for, "Oh, Robin van Persie," among Manchester United supporters. Last month, a different Dutchman was serenaded to the song. Joshua Zirkzee's warm-up in the first half at Liverpool marked a sea change. A week that had started with one of the most galling humiliations for a United player at Old Trafford ended with vocal support. It could have got better had Harry Maguire kept Zirkzee's bobbly square pass down in added time. It did get better a week later in the FA Cup third round at Arsenal. After Lenny Yoro converted in the shootout to put United 3-1 up, Bruno Fernandes prodded Zirkzee in the chest and offered him a few words. The message: be ready to win it. Lisandro Martinez scored United's fourth spot kick, so Zirkzee stepped up for the fifth. United fans had promised, if Zirkzee scores, we're on the pitch. Zirkzee held up his end of the bargain. United were in the velvet bag for the fourth round draw. And the fifth. Their progress to the last 16 of the FA Cup is largely down to Zirkzee's impact against Leicester City on Friday night. He equalized, and his general play ensured United rendered the memory of the stultifying first hour inconsequential. The 23-year-old is becoming an unlikely cult figure at United. The loyalists among the matchgoers railed against the heckles and booing Zirkzee was subjected to when he was removed in the 33rd minute against Newcastle, and now a match does not go by without an airing of Zirkzee's chant. He has only got 5 goals in 36 appearances, and Zirkzee has failed to score in 32 of those. But it is one more than Radamel Falcao and as many as Alexis Sanchez. One hopes for Zirkzee's sake this is the only time he is bracketed with those two duds. Even before his career nadir against Newcastle, a well-placed figure at United stressed the club was intent on supporting Zirkzee and hopeful there was a lot more to come. We are starting to see glimpses. Zirkzee has been a contentious figure in a sorry season. He was the lightning rod that legislated for Dan Ashworth's defenestration as sporting director. Club figures claim Zirkzee was not an Erik ten Hag-led signing, and Ashworth bristled when the deal was questioned during his sole interaction with the dedicated correspondents in September. Ten Hag had no direct connection with Zirkzee, but nor did he with Tyrell Malacia or Wout Weghorst. Nearly a quarter of the Dutchmen who have played for United were signed on Ten Hag's watch. Man United make shock move for ex-Man City superstar. That is according to Fischages, who report that United are interested in bringing the Portugal wingback back to Europe. Cancelo is currently plying his trade in Saudi Arabia after joining Al Hilal from Man City last summer for a fee in excess of €25 million. The 30-year-old was considered for a while the best wingback in the world under Pep Guardiola after joining from Juventus in 2019. However, he requested to leave Man City in 2023 after losing his first-team place and having a rumored falling out with Guardiola. After failed loan moves to Bayern Munich and Barcelona, City eventually sold him last summer to Al Hilal. Ruben Amorim wants Cancelo. Surprisingly, Fischages reports that Ruben Amorim wants to bring back Cancelo to Manchester, a move that the player himself is open to. Amorim is searching for wingbacks that are able to play in his 3-4-2-1 system and believes Cancelo is perfect for the position on the right or left. The move comes as a surprise as it has now been a number of years since Cancelo has played at a top-class level. He turns 31 in May, which will also raise doubts about whether United would be signing someone who is past their best. The Red Devils have been burned in recent years when signing players with big reputations who are approaching or past the age of 30, with the likes of Bastian Schweinsteiger, Raphael Varane, and Case Moreau all proving expensive flops. United are expected to undergo something of a revolution this summer after another disastrous season. They currently find themselves down in 13th position in the Premier League with no hope of qualifying for the Champions League, and with their only realistic route into Europe being through the FA Cup or Europa League. Jadon Sancho's brutal Marcus Rashford message shows toxicity at Man United. Jadon Sancho's swipe at Manchester United reeks of toxicity after the Chelsea loanee applauded Marcus Rashford for leaving. Rashford hadn't played for nearly 2 months until he took to the field on Sunday evening for his new team. The forward wasn't part of Ruben Amorim's plans and had been out in the cold for weeks before securing a move away from Old Trafford recently. He posted on social media to thank his new fans for his reception, before Sancho came in with a one-word comment that simply said, "Freedom." Sancho is on loan at Chelsea, but technically still on the books in Manchester, yet his bad feeling towards the Red Devils was very evident. He, like Rashford, spent a prolonged period outside the first-team environment, but Ben Foster admits his willingness to speak publicly is a terrible reflection on his former club. The goalkeeper said on his podcast, Ben Foster, the Cycling GK, "What is he doing? That's ridiculous because he is still actually employed by Manchester United, so is Marcus Rashford. It just reeks of toxicity at United. It reeks of an unhappy place to be, that everybody's buzzing for someone to get out of the club." Sancho himself angered former manager Erik ten Hag when he publicly responded to his comments on social media that saw him shunned for months before he was able to secure a brief loan stint away with Borussia Dortmund. He returned in the summer, and it was claimed that he and Ten Hag had put their differences aside as he was involved in pre-season. Sancho, however, was able to secure a move to Chelsea, where he will eventually stay on a permanent basis, having been unable to deliver in Manchester. Rashford himself was dropped for the Manchester Derby in December and never returned to the fold. His attitude had been called out in the past, and Amorim himself wasn't shy in speaking openly about why he was happy to overlook Rashford despite his talent. "I couldn't put Marcus to see the way you're supposed to play football and to train the way I see it," Amorim said last week. "And sometimes you have one player that is really good with one coach, and the same player with another coach is different." Rio Ferdinand hails Man United player Ineos would want to buy. He wants to get rid of absolute joke. Former Manchester United defender Rio Ferdinand has given his thoughts on Manchester United's most explosive talent. Manchester United were not just flat in the first 45 minutes against Leicester City in the FA Cup 4th round. The performance was absolutely awful. United don't have much quality depth on the bench, but one player left on the sidelines was wonder kid Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho came on at halftime and turned United fortunes around. His dynamism changed the game, with United winning 2-1. Roy Keane even said he believes Garnacho is better from the bench. An interesting debate, yet clearly Garnacho has something to offer. Rio Ferdinand on Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho was linked with a Manchester United exit during the transfer window. This did not come from United's end, although reports have continued to claim United are open to all offers due to the benefits of selling academy players for PSR. Former Manchester United defender Rio Ferdinand is an admirer of Garnacho. He knows he is not perfect and what young player would be at the age of 20 at a club like this. Ferdinand told his YouTube channel that Garnacho is among the best United have, and exactly the type of player the Red Devils would typically be looking to sign, he said. "From where we are right now, he's a very, very good player. If you're looking for a team that's actually going for a championship and going well in Europe, you may reevaluate that and look at it very differently, but for where Man United are, if Garnacho was on the radar out in the market, he'd be someone we're trying to buy." Ferdinand blasts PSR. Manchester United want to keep the club's best academy players, not sell them. Yet this is being incentivized by financial rules. It was a factor in the decision to sell Scott McTominay to Napoli in 2024, and will make the eventual sale of Marcus Rashford more profitable. Discussing Garnacho, Ferdinand made the call for this aspect of the system to be scrapped. "Now we've got him, we're saying he's surplus to requirements, let's get rid," he asked. When explained that United don't want to sell Garnacho but may have to for financial reasons, Ferdinand snapped back.